Welcome to Gone Racin', unearthing the Lost Dukes of Hazzard novel and its alternate history. Buckle in and enjoy the show.
Digging through old stuff, and you stumble upon a completely, lost story from a show you thought you knew inside and out.
Oh, yeah. That hidden gem feeling.
Exactly. And today, we're doing just that. We're taking a deep dive into something really unique.
Yeah.
The only licensed novel ever written about the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is the actual source. We're looking at Gone Racin'.
Gone Racin', right.
It's a paperback novel penned by Eric Alter, published back on April 28th, 1983.
Okay, 83. So right in the show's heyday.
Right. And this isn't just, any old tie-in book. It's explicitly stated this is the sole licensed novel for the series.
The only one. Wow.
The only one. So our mission today really is to kind of pull out the core story, the surprising plot points, and maybe most importantly, how does this thing actually stack up against the TV series we all remember?
Gotcha. So get ready, because you're about to discover a completely different take on how Bo and Luke really got their shot at, the big time.
Mm.
The wild twists Boss Hogg throws at them, and what this novel maybe tells us about the Dukes that the TV show, never did. You're about to be well-informed on some Hazzard history most folks don't even know exists.
Exactly.
So what's the setup here? Where does the story kick off for Bo and Luke?
Well, it opens with them heading home after cutting lumber. Bo's driving, Luke's asleep.
Okay.
And suddenly this blue car just flies past them. And before they can even react, boom, there's Roscoe chasing the blue car.
And naturally.
But then, Roscoe, he spots the General Lee.
Oh, no.
Yeah, changes course, decides to chase them instead.
Of course he does.
So what follows is this, impromptu chase. And Bo actually, surprisingly, outmaneuvers Roscoe. Ends up with Roscoe sinking in Horseshoe Creek. Flash is swimming for shore.
Hey, poor Flash. Classic Roscoe, though.
Yeah.
So Bo's already showing off his driving skills right at the start. What about that blue car?
Well, Bo actually spins out the driver of the blue car. And get this, it turns out to be Fireball Watson.
The Fireball Watson.
Oh.
The stock car champ.
The reigning champ, yeah. And Watson's so impressed by Bo's driving, he actually offers them a spot on his pit crew.
Yeah.
They turn him down, but he gives them his card, which, might come in handy later.
I have a feeling it will.
And then, yeah, they see Cooter towing Roscoe out of the creek later. A nice little touch. But then, back at the farm, the story really emphasizes how important that place is.
Right, the Duke farm.
We're told great-granddaddy Duke built the house. There are 5 generations buried in the family cemetery there. That land is everything to Jesse.
That really sets the stakes, that
Yeah.
connection. So what's the big threat? How does the trouble really start?
Okay, so this is where the money trouble hits. This guy, Barnard Pugh, from the county land assessor's office, shows up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hits Jesse with a bombshell. $10,000. Back taxes.
10,000. In 83.
Yeah, a huge amount, due in 30 days, or the farm goes up for public auction.
Wow. Okay, so this is serious.
And if you connect the dots,
Yeah.
this isn't just some random bill. Boss Hogg, who we find enjoying chitlin ice cream with Roscoe and Cletus.
Wait, chitlin ice cream. Seriously?
Chitlin ice cream, he admits he found these old tax bills.
Oh, I bet he did.
His grand plan: acquire all the farms around Duke Creek, including the Dukes, to build, wait for it, Hogland.
Hogland.
Or Hog Heaven. He calls it a year-round resort of vice and corruption.
Sounds about right for Boss.
And Roscoe even calls it a dirty trick, and Boss just takes it as a compliment. Pure Boss Hogg.
Man, that's cold. So $10,000, that feels impossible. What's the crazy Duke solution? What does Lick come up with?
Well, first, Daisy has to politely turn down Cletus, who asks her to a policeman's ball that doesn't actually exist.
Poor Cletus.
Yeah. But then Luke gets an idea, ironically, from reading a magazine. He points out that Fireball Watson just won $100,000 at Daytona.
Uh-huh, the Fireball connection again.
Right, and since Bo just, kind of beat Watson in that chase, Luke says, why don't we enter the Daytona 500?
Just like that.
Yeah.
Enter the Daytona 500. I can only imagine Jesse's reaction.
Oh, he hits the roof. Furious, storms out, reminds them, knowing Hazzard roads is one thing, professional racing is completely different.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But Luke insists. And Daisy, surprisingly, she backs him up. So they decide they're going to do it anyway, secretly. They start practicing down at the Hazzard Fairgrounds.
Secretly. Okay. How's that go?
Well, reality hits hard. Their average lap speed, only 79 miles per hour. And they figure they need to be hitting almost 150.
Wow.
Well,
That's a massive difference. So they have this huge goal, a secret plan, and a very unhappy Jesse.
exactly.
What does it actually take to get the General Lee ready for something like NASCAR?
Eh.
Especially doing it on the sly. And, why was Jesse so dead set against it?
Right, so peeling back that layer, Bo and Luke, they do their farm tours during the day, but every single night they're out there secretly overhauling the General.
The whole car.
The whole car. Following stock car rules, they even order a new camshaft, but that noisy new engine eventually gives them away.
Ah.
Yep. The truth comes out. Jesse's just deeply disappointed. Silent treatment, won't eat with them, won't talk to them.
Harsh. So what's the deep reason for it?
It goes back. The book reveals Jesse wasn't just a farmer, he was a legendary moonshiner back in the day. He actually invented the bootleg turn by accident.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. But the real reason is pain. He watched his good friend Calvin Morris die in a race down in Texas.
Oh, man.
Apparently, younger drivers were taking bigger risks, and Calvin felt pressured to keep up. So, professional racing just brings up all this trauma for Jesse.
Wow, okay, that explains a lot. It's really heartbreaking. But, it's the Dukes. That family bond has to win out, right? How do they get him back on board?
Absolutely. It happens after Boss Hogg shows up, tries to lowball Jesse, offering just $11,000 for the farm.
Boss.
Jesse furiously chases him off with a rake, I think. But the boys feel guilty afterwards. They're ready to apologize, promise not to race.
Yep.
But then Jesse walks into the barn, and he apologizes to them for, bawling them out. He tells them he's completely behind them now, even offers to help with the car.
That's fantastic. That's the Uncle Jesse we know.
It's a great moment. And then in typical Jesse fashion, he puts them through this grueling physical training.
Oh, yeah. What's that involved?
Cutting wood and running all the way to Parsons Creek and back.
Cutting wood for NASCAR training.
Hey, it's Jesse's way. The boys are less than thrilled.
I bet. So Jesse's in. But Boss Hogg isn't going to just let them waltz off to Daytona, right? What's his next move?
Nope. Roscoe spots the boys out running, tells Boss. So Boss sends Cletus to spy on them, disguised, hilariously, as a tree stump.
A tree stump, yeah.
Yep. Which ends, predictably, with Cletus getting stung by bees and running away screaming.
Oh, Cletus.
But things get serious. Bo and Luke go see their probation officer, a Mr. Eugene Butler.
Okay, different from the show.
Right. Butler actually gives them permission to go to Florida, wishes them luck. But Boss and Roscoe overhear the whole thing.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yep. Boss immediately holds a Board of Commissioners meeting, which is just him and Roscoe,
Of course.
and passes a new $1,000 tax just for racing cars in Hazzard County, and orders the General Lee impounded.
That's classic Boss, using the law, or twisting it anyway.
Yeah.
But surely the good folks of Hazzard aren't going to stand for that.
Oh, they absolutely do not. The community pulls off this incredible send-off for the Dukes.
Yeah. What happens?
A huge crowd gathers. There's a band playing. The high school bus actually escorts the General Lee out of the county.
No way. Like a protective shield.
Exactly. It completely blocks Boss in his own speed-modified car, which he calls the Exterminator.
Exterminator. Good grief.
Yeah. And Susie Elkin gives Luke a kiss. Granny Perkins gives Bo a sweet potato and okra pie for the road. It's just this wonderful moment of Hazzard solidarity.
That's brilliant. That's the Hazzard spirit right there. So they make it out, community backing them. What's the journey like down to Daytona? And what happens when they finally get there?
Well, the drive itself is rough. The General Lee, remember, it's set up for racing now, so no shock absorbers. Very tiresome trip.
Ouch.
But along the way, they stumble on an accident. An 8-year-old girl is badly hurt.
Oh, no.
So the Dukes, being Dukes, they drop everything. Bo drives the General at, 200 miles per hour to get her to the hospital.
100.
That's what the book says. And they actually get a police escort back to the interstate from a grateful officer afterwards.
Wow. Okay, bit of heroism on the way.
Definitely shows their character. They finally roll into Daytona late at night, totally broke. They've only got $38.56 left.
$38. How are they going to race?
Well, first they gotta sleep. They end up camping right there on the beach. And luckily, the local cops kind of look the other way.
Little break for them. But yeah, $38 isn't going to get them in a NASCAR. How do they even get near the qualifying race?
It's not easy. Their first try, they wave Fireball Watson's card at the security guard.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Guard won't let them in. So what do the Dukes do?
Oh, I think I know.
They sneak in. Luke rips his pants on barbed wire in the process.
Only the Dukes. Okay, so they're in, ripped pants and all. Who do they run into? Does they find any help?
Okay, so here's where some really interesting new characters show up. First, Fireball Watson himself sees them after they sneak in.
Uh-oh.
But surprisingly, he helps them get past security properly this time.
Ooh, okay. Good old Fireball.
Yeah. But even more important are his twin daughters, Tamara and Tanya. They're about the same age as Bo and Luke.
Twins.
And even though their dad is kind of dismissive of the Dukes at first, the twins are all in, offering full support. And later they become absolutely crucial after Boss tries his sabotage routine. They provide parts from their dad's garage.
Okay, vital allies. Anyone else?
Yes, a really key player. Houston Crawford Jr. His dad is the Crawfish, big oil guy, Watson's main sponsor.
Or Crawfish.
Okay,
Yeah.
but Crawford Jr., he likes underdogs because his dad only likes winners. So he sees the Dukes, likes their style, becomes their manager on the spot, pays their entrance fee, takes the whole team, Bo, Luke, Daisy, Jesse, Cooter out to dinner, all while openly defying his disapproving dad.
Wow. So they've got funding, management, allies. Things are looking up. How do they actually do in the practice runs and qualifying?
Well, after Crawford Jr. races Bo for fun and Bo easily beats him, they go up against this really mean driver, Billy T-Bone Tucker.
T-Bone Tucker. Sounds friendly.
Notorious jerk, apparently. Drives a canary yellow car. Anyway, Tucker ends up wrecking himself during the run, which means the Dukes qualify. Impressively, too.
All right. But you know Boss Hogg isn't done yet, right? What's the sabotage?
Oh, it's bad. Boss hires these two goons, Mo Birch, the 7-foot giant, and Jasper Rollins, described as a Phi Beta Kappa from the Florida State Penitentiary.
A Phi Beta Kappa from prison.
Okay. And while Boss creates a diversion, and get this by faking drowning in the ocean.
Fakes drowning.
Fakes drowning to distract Bo and Luke, who rush to save him. While they're busy with that, Mo and Jasper sneak over and completely pull apart the General Lee's engine.
Oh, no. That's really low, even for Boss.
Yeah.
So the engine's ruined. They're out. How do they possibly come back from that?
It looks totally hopeless, the engine's in pieces. But
Yeah.
Daisy and the Watson twins, Tamara and Tanya,
Yeah, the allies.
they come up with this absolutely brilliant, totally Hazzard plan. They build a parade float
A float.
shaped like a little farmhouse,
Really?
and hidden underneath, the General Lee, presumably with a newly fixed engine thanks to parts from Watson's garage, courtesy of the twins,
They hide the car under a float.
to sneak it into the speedway for the actual Daytona 500.
That is ingenious.
Yeah.
And ridiculous. I love it. What a reveal that must have been at the track.
Oh, you can imagine.
Yeah.
They unveil it. There's the General Lee ready to race. Boss Hogg and Crawford Sr., the sponsor dad, are absolutely furious.
I bet.
They actually team up, try to get the Dukes disqualified, even threaten the race official, saying Crawford Sr. will pull all his sponsored cars out.
Does it work?
Nope. The official stands firm. The Dukes are in the race.
Yes. Okay, so the race itself, Bo starts dead last, right? How does it go?
Yep, 42nd place, starts way at the back.
Right.
But Bo is just incredible. He weaves through traffic, dodges multiple crashes caused by other drivers,
Skillful.
makes a pit stop for gas 30 seconds flat, which Cooter apparently thinks they need to improve on later.
Always Cooter.
And he just keeps climbing. He gets into this running battle with T-Bone Tucker again. They actually crash together. Both cars flip.
Oh, no. Both.
Yeah. The General lands back on its wheels somehow. Tucker's upside down. Bo manages to get the General restarted and keeps going. He claws his way all the way up to second place, right behind Fireball Watson.
What a comeback. Unbelievable. So he's right there, second place, fighting for the win. What happens at the climax? This is it.
It's the final laps. Bo actually takes a lead. The crowd's going insane. But then
Boss, Roscoe, and Crawford Sr., the dad, drive the exterminator onto the track.
He drive onto the track.
during the totally illegal, totally desperate attempt to stop Bo. But then the really pivotal moment happens.
Wow.
Bo's in first place. He sees Roscoe's car, the exterminator, losing steering control. It's fishtailing, about to crash.
Yeah.
And Bo, he makes a choice. He deliberately slows down, pulls alongside Roscoe, and uses the General Lee to stabilize the exterminator, pushing it straight.
It saves Roscoe while leading the Daytona 500.
He saves Roscoe. And by saving Roscoe, he also saves Boss and Crawford Sr., who are in the car.
Wow.
But in doing that, he loses the lead. Fireball Watson streaks past him. Everyone else streams past him. He finishes last.
Wow. He threw away the win, the prize money, the glory, everything, to save the guys who've been tormenting him the whole time. What's the reaction to that?
Well, Bo is just gutted, dejected. It feels like he let everyone down, lost the farm.
Oh, man.
But his family, Jesse, Daisy, Luke, Cooter, they rush over, incredibly proud of him. And then the other drivers, Fireball included, they swarm him, hoist him up on their shoulders. They recognize him as a true champion, regardless of where he finished.
That's incredible. What a moment. That self-sacrifice. It really shows a depth to Bo, maybe more than the show sometimes did.
I think so. It's not just about driving fast. It's about character, a profound moral choice. He puts saving even his enemies above winning. It really elevates him.
Definitely. So, okay, he's a hero in everyone's eyes, but they still lost the race. How do they actually save the farm now? What happens next?
Well, the drama isn't over yet. Remember Mo and Jasper, the goons boss hired?
Yeah, the giant and the Phi Beta Kappa convict?
Right. Well, immediately after the race, they pull a gun on Cletus, force him to be their getaway driver,
Oh, poor Cooter.
and they rob a bank.
They rob a bank right after the race.
Right then. Roscoe hears it on the scanner, tells the Dukes. So Bo and Luke, with Roscoe tagging along in the General, chase after Mo and Jasper.
Back in the General Lee.
Yep. But then the crooks ditch the car and jump into a speedboat.
A speedboat chase. Seriously.
Seriously. Bo's apparently never driven one, says something like it's got to be like driving a car, and Luke somehow figures it out. They chase them down on the water, defeat the crooks, and recover all the stolen money.
That is absolutely wild. A speedboat chase. Okay, so they caught the robbers. Did that help with the farm money?
Well, when they get back to the docks, the local police are there, and they initially try to arrest Bo and Luke for that earlier hospital speed run.
Oh, God.
But then the police chief and the bank owner, this guy named Dave, show up and clear things up. And Dave reveals there's a $5,000 reward for stopping the robbery and getting the money back.
$5,000. That helps, but it's not the $10,000 they need, right?
Right. But then Crawford Sr., the sponsor dad, steps up. He reveals that even though Bo finished last, he led so many laps during the race that he earned over $10,000 in lap prize money anyway, far more than the reward.
No way. He won the money after all.
Enough to save the farm. They did it.
Yes. What a roller coaster. They save the day, catch the bad guys, get the money, save the farm. Bo's a hero. So what's the grand finale after all that? How does it wrap up?
They have this big celebration dinner. And Crawford Sr., eating a bit of humble pie, admits his son, Crawford Jr., was right about the Duke's talent.
Acknowledges his son. Nice.
Yeah. And since Fireball Watson is retiring from racing, Crawford Sr. offers Bo and Luke spots on his official racing team for the next season.
Whoa. That's the dream, right? The big time.
It is, and you can tell they desperately want it. But
yeah,
they turn it down.
They turn it down. Why?
They feel obligated, burdened by the farm duties. They can't just leave Jesse.
Responsibility. Classic dudes.
But then Uncle Jesse pulls a masterstroke. He stands up and announces that their cousins, Coy and Vance, are coming to Hazzard.
Coy and Vance, here they come.
Exactly. Jesse jokes he's unhappy with Bo and Luke's chore performance anyway, so he's giving their jobs to Coy and Vance, which, of course, frees Bo and Luke up completely to go pursue their racing dream.
Jesse.
Yeah.
That clever old fox. That's brilliant.
Isn't it? So Bo and Luke are off to the races. There's a kind of bittersweet goodbye between Daisy and Crawford Jr. She decides to stay in Hazzard.
Right. Daisy belongs in Hazzard.
Yep. And Jesse and Daisy are just really satisfied. They save the farm, stop Boss Hogg's Hogland scheme, although Barnard Pugh does show up one last time to collect almost $4,000 in tax on the prize money.
Ugh, always taxes.
Always taxes. But the farm is safe. And the book literally ends with Coy and Vance arriving in Hazzard, driving the General Lee, and immediately leading Cletus on a classic chase.
Perfect ending. Sets up that whole season 5 transition perfectly.
Exactly.
Okay, so the farm's saved. Bo and Luke are off racing. Coy and Vance are in town. Whew, what a story. Now, let's get to the really interesting part for fans. What are the big takeaways here? How does this novel, this deep dive, really change or, add to our understanding of the Dukes compared to the TV show?
Right, and this is where it gets really fascinating comparing this to the show we know. There's some pretty significant differences, some real departures in the details.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, for starters, geography. The book mentions specific neighboring counties, like Jackson County and Calhoun County.
Huh. Never heard those mentioned in the series.
Exactly. And then there's the General Lee's engine. The book flat out states it's a stock 440 engine, just with modifications.
But the show, I remember the episode Happy Birthday General Lee, they said Bo and Luke built it from scratch.
Right.
From a wreck.
Precisely. The show lore is they built it themselves. The book says it was basically a stock engine they tweaked. That's a pretty different origin for the most famous car on TV. Kind of changes how much credit the boys get for it, maybe.
Yeah, that's a subtle but big difference in their skills or history. What about the family itself, how they all came together?
Oh, this one's a big one. The book claims a completely different arrival order at the farm. It says Bo arrived first as a teenager, Then Luke came later, then Daisy.
Wait, Bo first. As a teen, the show always said Luke was older, and they both came as babies, right? Luke first, then Bo, and Daisy came when she was 6.
That's the established TV canon, yes. Babies, Luke older, Daisy later. The book flips it completely. Bo first, teenage arrival. That's a fundamental rewrite of their shared childhood, really.
Wow, that is huge. Does it mess with any other backstories we thought we knew?
It sure does. Even Roscoe's backstory gets a rewrite.
Roscoe. How so?
The book implies that Boss Hogg actively helped Roscoe steal his election to become sheriff. Like, crooked from the very beginning.
Whoa. But the show always kind of portrayed him as, well, maybe not the sharpest knife, but he was a respected sheriff who only turned crooked after Boss messed with his pension fund, right? That was the whole motivation.
That was the show's story, yeah. Boss got the pension, Roscoe needed the money, became Boss's pawn. The book makes him seem complicit with Boss from day one, maybe even owing his job to him. It paints Roscoe in a much darker light. Less bumbling, more actively corrupt.
Man, that really changes his character. Okay, what else? Ages were always a bit fuzzy on the show.
Yeah, the book tries to nail it down. It explicitly states Bo and Luke are both 21.
Both 21. But Luke was definitely older in the show. He was a Marine sergeant discharged in 76, making him closer to like 28 or 30 by 82, with Bo maybe 24.
Exactly. The show consistently portrayed Luke as the older, more experienced one, the ex-Marine. The book makes them twins in age, which kind of changes their dynamic.
Yeah, it does. And the probation officer, not Boss.
Nope. This book has Mr. Eugene Butler. The show, as you know, had a whole string of them, and most famously, Boss Hogg himself held their probation for a long time. Having a seemingly neutral officer like Butler is quite different.
It really does sound like almost an alternate Hazzard universe in some ways. Were there any, like, personality swaps or role reversals between Bo and Luke?
Actually, yeah, kind of a surprising one. In this book, Luke is often presented as the more impulsive one.
Impulsive.
Yeah, he's the one wanting to speed more, wanting to check out clubs in Daytona. And Bo is more often the voice of reason, telling him to cool it.
That feels flipped, doesn't it? Usually Bo's the hothead, Luke's the planner in the show.
Generally, yeah. That's the typical dynamic we remember. The book reverses that expectation quite a bit. And one last little detail. How they leave Florida.
Right, when Coy and Vance arrive.
The book says Jesse, Daisy, and Cooter just leave Bo and Luke down in Florida to start their racing careers. And Coy and Vance drive the General Lee back to Hazzard.
Okay. But the show had that scene where they all take Bo and Luke to the airport, right? And Coy and Vance arrive in Hazzard in their own different car.
Correct. The show gave them a proper airport send-off, and Coy and Vance had their own entrance. The book handles that transition much more abruptly.
Wow. Okay, so when you lay it all out, it's not just minor details. It's backstory, character motivations, relationships, even the General Lee's origin. What's fascinating here is how these differences really do paint a picture of, like you said, an alternative Hazzard. It gives you a totally fresh perspective on characters you thought you knew inside and out. It really makes you appreciate how even a single licensed source, based on a huge franchise, can just spin its own completely unique history and narrative.
It really does.
So from that crazy $10,000 tax bill, all the way to a Daytona 500 showdown, saving Roscoe, the speedboat chase, and then back to Hazzard for this big shift with Coy and Vance.
Right.
This deep dive into Gone Racin' really has pulled back the curtain on a pretty hidden chapter of the Duke's story.
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does it actually mean when a story, even one tied to established lore like this, kind of takes on a life of its own?
Right.
This novel, by giving us such a distinct narrative, different character takes, it challenges you to think that maybe the familiar stories, the ones we know best, can always hold new surprises. And maybe the true version of any legend, you know, is often just a mix of all its different tellings. It certainly makes you wonder what other unexpected official or licensed stories might be lurking out there for your other favorite shows or franchises.
Yeah.
Just waiting to be dug up and compared to the versions we thought were the whole story.
That's a great point. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and definitely keep an eye out for those hidden gems. You absolutely never know what surprising facts or fascinating insights you might uncover.